What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, in honor of finishing another Beginner Pilates week, we are going to be doing a nice, long, slow flow yoga class. If you've done one of these classes with me before, you know I don't put music underneath this one so that you can listen to whatever music you want, or you can listen to the Spotify playlist attached if you so choose. We are going to be hanging out in some of these yoga poses for probably a little bit longer than is comfortable for you. So if at any point you want to come out of it, you need to readjust, go ahead and readjust. If you have blocks, awesome, go ahead and grab those. If you have any other props that you want to use, feel free to grab them, and we're going to go ahead and jump right in. I want you to come to a comfortable spot on your mat, whether that's cross-legged or legs out in front of you, it doesn't matter to me. Bring your hands right to the tops of your legs. And I want you to just take a second, do a full body scan. Okay, we've got the shoulders right on top of the hips. I want you to feel heavy in your hips. So you're anchoring your hips down to the mat. You feel your body grounding itself. I want you to imagine that your hips are growing roots that are reaching down through the mat to the ground. So you feel anchored, you feel strong, you feel supported. And when you're ready, we'll take a couple deep breaths together. Nice big inhale through the nose. And we'll take a big exhale through the mouth and we'll let it go. Big inhale. And exhale, we'll let it go. Do two more like that. Inhaling through the nose. We'll exhale to let it go. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it go. And from here, I want you to seal your lips. Continue to breathe in and out, but only breathing through the nose. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the nose. We'll continue to breathe like that as we move throughout this practice. If at any point you feel an overwhelming urge to exhale through the mouth, feel free to do so. Always remember, this is your yoga class. It's your yoga practice. You do whatever you feel that you need to do. Okay, we'll take a couple more deep breaths right here. And perhaps in this moment, you set an intention for the rest of our practice and carry that intention with you as we move throughout these poses. Our slow flow classes are much more relaxing than all of our Pilates classes are. So really allow this time for your body to just decompress, relax, chill out. I know that's very hard for a lot of us to do, myself included. So I'll share my intention for this class. My intention is to fully surrender to the poses and allow myself the time that I need to recuperate, relax, and decompress. Good. Once you're ready, I want you to put your legs so they come all the way out in front of you. You can go about hips distance apart, and you can just kind of let your feet fall between pointed and flexed. We'll take a nice deep inhale right here. I want you to lift the arms so they come up above the shoulders. We'll exhale, hinge forward at the hips, take a forward fold, reaching for your feet, maybe reaching for your shins, for the mat, whatever you can reach. Take a deep breath right here. And on your next inhale, we'll come back up to seated. Come up nice and slow. Once again, we'll inhale, take the arms around and up overhead. Maybe you find a little back bend if that feels okay. And we'll exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward over the legs. Just take a couple of deep breaths. Seeing if you can identify any areas of your body that maybe feel a little bit tight. Sending some extra energy, some extra love and light into those pockets One more deep breath. And on our next inhale, we'll bring ourselves back up to seated. We'll do that one more time, inhaling to lift the arms around and up. Perhaps you find a little back bend if that feels okay in your body. And once you're ready, you can exhale, hinge at your hips, fold forward over the legs. Just taking a couple deep breaths here, maybe letting your body pull you forward towards your legs or towards the mat, allowing gravity to do a little bit of the work. We'll take one more deep breath right here. And on your next inhale, go ahead and bring everything back up to seated. Once you get up to seated, I want you to take an inhale. We'll hug the right knee in towards our chest. You can either grab onto your shin, or if it feels a little bit better, you can reach behind the hamstring and just give your leg a little bit of a hug. If it feels good, you can take some circles through the ankle. Once you're ready, start to take those circles around the other way. We'll just take a couple more. And once you're ready, I want you to take your right foot. We're going to cross the right foot over the top of the left leg. Unclasp your hands from your right leg and we'll inhale, take the arms around and up. We'll exhale, twist open towards the right side of the room. Take your left arm, give your right knee a little bit of a hug and reach the right fingertips back behind you. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Trying to find a little bit of length in the spine, reaching the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. We'll take one more deep breath right here. And on your next inhale, we'll start to come out of this twist, taking the right hand around. We'll square back off towards the front of our mat, unhook the left arm, hands can come behind you, and then just uncross the right leg, let it go out in front of you. Again, we'll sit up nice and tall. Once you're ready, we'll inhale, hug the left knee in. You can reach for your shin. You can also hold behind the left leg wherever it feels comfortable. And then just start to circle a little bit through the ankle. Once you're ready, in your own time, you can bring your circles around the other way. Once you've had enough of your circles, it feels sufficient for you, we'll take the left foot, cross it over the top of the right leg. We'll unclasp the hands and inhale, reach the arms around and up. We'll exhale to twist over towards the left side of the room. Left hand can reach behind you. You can give your left knee a gentle hug with the right arm. And I sometimes like to look to my back hand. You can also just look forward. Maybe you lock eyes with me. You can look down. You can do whatever you want to do, whatever feels comfortable for you and your body and your neck, mostly. We'll take one more deep breath right here. And then once you're ready to take yourself out of this twist, we'll take the left hand out and around, unhook the right arm, and then just uncross the left leg. While we're here, hands can stay behind you. Just take a couple moments to point and flex your feet. Our feet connect us into all of our other muscles, so it's really good to practice moving the feet in this way, rolling the ankles, pointing and flexing, wiggling the toes. It's all really important. Good. Once you're ready and you've had enough right here, we'll take the legs. You can swing them back and around and go ahead and make your way into a child's pose. So you can come to the back of your mat. I want the big toes together. You can open your knees out nice and wide and just start to reach your hips back towards your heels, reaching the arms out long in front of you. Maybe you rest your forehead down onto the mat if that's comfortable. If you need a little bit of support with some blocks underneath you, grab some blocks. Grab a bolster if that's more comfortable. And just start to settle into this stretch. On your next inhale, let's walk both of our hands over towards the right side of the mat. I want you to keep the left arm reaching and then take your right hand back and around so you find a little bit of a half wrap reaching for the top of the left leg, coming onto the left ear. On your next inhale, we'll bring our right hand out of that half wrap, bringing it around to meet the left. We'll take a moment to walk both of our hands over towards the left side of the mat, keeping the right arm down. I want you to tilt your right ear onto your bicep and take your left hand back and around, finding a half wrap to open the shoulder and the chest. On your next inhale, we'll unwrap the left arm, bringing it back and around to meet the right, walking both hands back through center, and then seeing if you can press your hips further back towards your heels, sinking a little bit deeper into this child's pose for 1 moment longer. On your next inhale, let's bring ourselves up into a tabletop position, hands down, knees will be back. We'll set the shoulders up so they come right over the wrists, hips right over the knees, and we'll take a couple rounds of cat-cow. Inhaling to dip the belly down, we'll open up the chest, draw the shoulder blades together. Exhaling to push into the heels of the hands, curving the spine up, looking back to the tops of your legs. We'll inhale, dip the belly down, draw the shoulder blades together, open up the chest. Big exhale to push into the heels of the hands, curve the spine up. Let's do that one more time. Once you're ready, meet me back in that neutral tabletop position, planting the tops of the feet down into your mat. We'll inhale to open the right arm out towards the right side of the room. And I want you to take an exhale, thread that right arm back behind the left. Don't come all the way down to thread the needle just yet. Good, we'll inhale, open up. Exhale, send it through. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling to open. We'll exhale to send it through. This will be our last one. We inhale, open. Exhale, send it through. And on this one, you can come all the way down onto your right shoulder, right ear. Try to keep your hips over the knees and then take the left hand, walk it forward just a little bit so we get a different stretch in the chest and in the shoulder. If that's not so good for you, keep the left hand right where it's at. We'll take one more breath right here. And wherever your left hand ended up, go ahead, start to walk it back in. And with gentle love and care, we'll press ourselves up out of this pose, pressing into the left hand, replacing the right hand down onto your mat. Maybe take a couple cat-cows if that feels good, if that's what you feel like you need. And then once you're ready, we'll inhale, open the left arm out towards the left side of the room. We'll exhale, send that left arm back behind the right. Don't come all the way down though. I know, it's so hard. Inhale, we'll open that left arm up. Exhale, we send it through. Twice more. And this will be our last one. We inhale, open. We'll exhale, send that left arm through, coming down onto the left shoulder, left ear, perhaps walking that right hand forward a little bit so we open up in the shoulder, the armpit, the chest, all that good stuff. Trying your best to keep your hips stacked right on top of your knees. I know it's so tempting to move around, but try to keep things stacked. That'll help us to stay in a really good place to get an adequate stretch. We'll take one more deep breath right here. And once you're ready, wherever the right hand ended up, go ahead and bring it back in. We'll take a big exhale, press ourselves up so we come back into a tabletop position. Now from this tabletop position, take a moment to just kind of rock your hips from side to side, see how things are feeling. Maybe shift weight backwards and forwards, release a little bit of tension in the wrist. And from here, we'll tuck our toes under. We're gonna pop ourselves up into a down dog, just as a little bit of a transitional movement. Take a moment to pedal out through the legs, feeling a connection into the backside of your body, the calves, the hamstrings, the heels. And once you're ready, our next inhale we'll use to take the right foot. We're just gonna step the right foot forward so we come into a pigeon pose. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you may have to move a couple things around as we get into it. The right knee will come behind the right wrist. The right foot comes just a little bit back behind the left wrist, and then you can lower yourself down onto that left leg at a point that feels comfortable for you. Now for me in pigeon pose, I like to fold forward, but I need a little bit of support underneath me. So if you wanna grab onto a block, now's a good time. And then when you're ready, start to lower yourself down. Forearms can come down. You can rest your head down onto a block. We're gonna hang out here for a little bit. So just find a point that's comfortable so you don't feel a lot of tension in your shoulders. It's super tempting for everything to creep up in towards your ears, but try your best to stay relaxed and sink yourself into the pose. We'll take just a couple more deep breaths right here. Get yourself back into your body. And once you're ready, we'll start to lift out of this the same way that we came down. You can lift the head, press yourself up off of the forearms or the hand, and then just move your block out of the way if you've got it. Hands are gonna plant firmly down onto the mat. I want you to tuck your left toes under so we lift up from the hips and get a little bit of space. And now from here, we're gonna slide our right knee back. We'll slide the left knee back so we come into a tabletop position. And from here, we'll actually take the right leg forward and we'll press ourselves back into a half split. So nice little counter stretch. Now we get into the back side of the leg, shifting focus from the outside of the hip. This one also a really good one for blocks if you've got them. And in a half split, I like to rock back onto my heel, just kind of shift weight forward and backward. You're welcome to play around with it, maybe shifting from a half split into a low lunge. Whatever speaks to you in this moment, I want you to do that. And you just hang out wherever you feel the stretch, whatever spot is best for you and serving you in this moment, that's where I want you to be. We'll take another deep breath right here. And once you're ready, just bend the right knee to get yourself out of this. We'll take the blocks, bring them out of the way, and gingerly step the right leg back. So we come back into our tabletop. Take a second, rock your hips from side to side. Maybe make a couple circles with the hips if that feels good. Just making sure you go both ways. Try to be as even as you can. Good. And then once you're ready, tuck those toes under. We'll pop back into our down dog. Again, just taking a moment to pedal out the legs. Seeing if maybe this time feels a little bit different than the first. Good. And then on your next inhale, we'll take our pigeon pose on the left side. So we'll shift ourselves forward, bring that left knee behind the left wrist. Right foot comes a little bit behind the right hand, and I'm going to scooch forward a little bit. Drop the right knee down and just start to lower yourself down onto the mat. Grab a block if you need it, if you've got it. And then when you're ready, you start to lower yourself down, folding over the left leg. We'll take a couple more deep breaths right here. And once you're ready to come up out of this pigeon pose, we'll come up the same way we came down, lifting the head, pressing up onto the hands. You can move your block out of the way, maybe bringing it to the other side of your mat so it's ready to go for you. Hands will plant firmly down onto your mat. I want you to tuck the right toes under so we lift up from the hips, find a little bit of space, and then step the left knee back. Right knee's gonna come back to meet it. Find your tabletop. Take a moment right here. And then we'll step our left foot forward. You can grab onto your blocks. And we'll press the hips back towards the heels to come into our half split. Now you may have to do a little bit of adjusting. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time you try and sink into a pose. And just like with the first side, play around with the movement in the left leg. Maybe it feels good for you to come forward into a low lunge and then press back into a half split. I want you to do whatever feels good in your body, whatever your body is telling you to do. And I promise you, your body's going to tell you. You know, if your hips are really tight, coming into that low lunge and pressing back to the half split might feel really good. If your hamstrings are really tight, rocking back and forth on the heel might feel really good. But I want you to play around with it. Take that creative freedom, right? And allow yourself to just be in the moment and figure out what's going to work best in you for your body. And we'll take a couple more deep breaths right here. And once you're ready, we can ditch the blocks. We'll carefully, maybe not so gracefully, that's okay, step the left knee back, come back to a tabletop position. And again, just take a second, shift your hips from side to side. See if you feel any lingering spots of tightness, maybe send some extra energy into those places. And then once you're ready here, we'll bring ourselves all the way down into a seated position on our mat. I want you to sit in a butterfly stance. So bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees open out towards the sides of the room. And if you've got blocks, this is a really good time to kind of just slide blocks underneath your knees. So you've got a little bit of support underneath you. It'll feel nice, hopefully. For me, I feel a nice release in my inner thighs. If I don't have the support underneath my knees, it feels like, ooh, not so nice, like nails on a chalkboard, almost. Okay, I want you to inhale, reach the arms around and up. We're gonna take the right hand, reach for your left wrist. Nice deep breath, and then exhale, give your left wrist a little bit of a pull, not a huge one, finding a side bend. Take one more deep breath right here. And then we'll release the right hand down to the mat. Maybe we find an even deeper side bend, reaching that left arm up and over. Perhaps you can get the right forearm down to your mat. Maybe you can't, that's okay. If this feels too much on your left shoulder, you can take your hand behind your head. That works just as well. It's gonna help us to open up through our chest and through our shoulder. On your next inhale, we'll take the left arm. Let's rotate that left arm down towards our mat so that your shoulders are squared off. We get a little bit of a different stretch right here. Take a nice deep breath right here. And when you're ready to come out of this, we'll come out the same way we came down. Inhale, we'll open out, de-rotate, and then come back up through center. We'll take the same thing on the other side. Inhaling to reach the arms and up. This time the left hand reaches for the right wrist. We'll inhale, find some length, grow tall, and then exhale, you reach over towards the left side of the room, giving your right wrist a very gentle pull, right? So we're not trying to pull the arm out of the socket, but it's a little bit of an assisted stretch. Good. And once you're ready right here, that left hand can come down all the way to the mat. We'll reach that right arm up and over, perhaps getting a deeper side bend if your body's gonna let you. Maybe you take the right hand behind the head if that feels better on your shoulder. Feels better on my shoulder. I like this. Once you're ready, we'll reach the right arm up and over, twist over towards the left side of your mat. Both hands will come down and you'll square the shoulders off to the mat. So we get rotation, but we also are getting a nice forward fold. If this doesn't feel so nice for you, you don't have to do it. You can just come into a regular forward fold, folding over the legs. We'll take one more breath right here, and then we'll come out of this the same way we came down. De-rotating, so you open up to me. We'll exhale, come up and around through center. And then you can grab onto those blocks, take them out from underneath your knees. We'll keep using the blocks. So if you've got a block, awesome. If you don't have a block, you can use a pillow instead. I want you to lay all the way down onto your mat. So the head comes down. We'll take a second, bend at the knees, take your hands down by your sides, and I want you to just drop your knees from side to side. Take a moment right there. See how things feel. See if maybe that like adjusted where things were landing in your body. For me, I always find like the second I drop my knees side to side like this, my back cracks. Right? Like, so if you felt that happen, totally fine. Usually that feels pretty nice, but you know, if it doesn't feel nice in your body, then that's okay too. However you feel is totally right. So always remember that as we get into yoga. How you feel is how you feel, and I can give you some suggestions for maybe how it should feel, but you know, all of our bodies are a little bit different. Okay, when you had enough of this, bring your knees back up through center. We'll grab onto our block and we're gonna set up in a bridge position. Okay, so I want you to lift your hips. So we come up into a bridge. If you did our Pilates workouts this week, you're very familiar with the bridge. We'll take our block, and I'll leave it up to you what height you want it to be on. We're just gonna slide that block so it comes right underneath our sacrum or our tailbone, okay? And then just rest your hips onto the block. So we get a supported bridge pose, and the low setting is awesome for this. If you wanna try the high setting, you're welcome to try it. I like it sometimes too. This is a good one, I think, to kind of release the low back. Feels good for me at least, okay? So we're gonna hang out here for a little bit. Just take some deep breaths and really relax into the pose. Think about sinking the shoulders down into the mat. Releasing all of that tension. Just imagine all of your stress, all of your worries, you're floating through your body, finding a way to escape. Let all that tension, all that negative energy float out through your fingertips and the palms of your hands, seep into your mat, into the ground, and imagine it just disseminating out into the universe so it's no longer holding space in your body and in your mind. Now, if it feels good for you in your body, you want to try it. You can lift one leg up towards the ceiling. Lift your second leg up towards the ceiling till you come into a waterfall pose. Let all the new positive energy come in through your toes, drift down towards your legs, come through your center, into your heart, into your mind. If that feels good, awesome. If it doesn't feel so good, bend your knees, plant the feet back down on your mat. We'll take one more deep breath right here. And once you're ready, we're going to lift the hips to create some space. Slide that block out from underneath you and lower your hips all the way down to the mat. Again, we'll just take a moment to drop the knees from side to side, releasing the spine. And put the block over here. Okay, on your next inhale, let's keep the left foot down on the mat. We'll take the right leg. We're going to cross that right leg over the top of the left and then lift the left foot up so we come into our double leg pigeon pose. Now from here, you can grab onto your feet and really gently pull the feet in towards you. You can grab onto your shins, give them a gentle pull. You can hug the knees, whatever feels comfortable. And we'll just hang out here for a little bit. Let's take an inhale to release the grip on the feet. I want you to open your arms out into a T, keeping the legs crossed. Let's drop both of our knees so they come over towards the left. You can let the hips lift off of the mat so long as that's comfortable for you. If you want a little bit of support underneath you, just slide a block underneath your knee that's kind of coming down to the mat, just so we get a little bit of a twist. You can even bring your gaze over your right fingertips. If that feels good in your body, go ahead and do that. If you don't like it, you don't have to. Good. I'll take a couple of deep breaths right here. Once you're ready to come out of this We'll come out the same way we came in with gentle love and care. You can grab on to the block if you've got it underneath your legs supporting you. Take that left foot to the ground and just take things back up through center. We'll uncross the right leg and then drop your knees side to side. It's always a nice release. It's a nice counterbalance. And once you're ready, we'll do that same thing on the other side. Right foot staying planted down on the mat. We'll cross the left leg over the top of the right, and you can lift the right foot up off of the mat, grabbing onto your shins, to your feet, or just giving your knees a gentle hug. And this side might feel a little bit different than the first side. That's okay. And for me, this side feels a lot tighter. Okay, if you're listening to the playlist that I linked in the description, not on shuffle, this song is my favorite song in the universe. I love Len and Stella. Let's take another inhale right here. And then once you're ready, we'll drop both of our knees over towards the right, maybe putting a block underneath your legs for some support, letting that right foot drop down. Arms can reach out into a T. And if it feels good in your body, you can look over the left fingertips, finding that full twist from the tailbone up to the crown of the head. We'll take a couple deep breaths right here. And once you're ready to come out of this, we'll come out with gentle, loving care. We're gonna bring our legs up. You can plant the right foot down, bring yourself up from there, grab onto that block, we can ditch it. Uncross the left leg, and again, just take a moment to rock the knees from side to side before we slide those legs out into our final resting pose. Okay, when you're ready, legs can go all the way out in front of you. I'm gonna scooch back a little bit. Your feet can come just about mass distance apart. Hands can come down by your sides. Maybe you flip the palms up towards the ceiling. And we'll just start to settle into our pose. Take a couple deep breaths here just to come back into your body. See how things are feeling. Maybe revisit that intention that we set earlier in class. And take a moment to do a full body scan, seeing if there are any areas in the body that still feel a little bit tense or tender. Always remembering that yoga cannot solve all of our problems, but it sure can help. So if you still feel a little bit tight or tender, it's okay, right? Show yourself some grace and allow yourself a little bit more time to work through it. Now, once you're ready, I want you to bring some movement back into your body, wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers, maybe blinking your eyes open. So we look up towards the ceiling or whatever is right there atop us. And I want you to roll over so that we come on to our right side. You can shift your hips over, kind of bring yourself into a fetal position. And take as many moments here as you need. Once you feel ready, you can press yourself up. So you come up into a seated position, whether that's cross-legged, legs out in front of you, whatever you like, and that is where I am going to leave you. Thank you so much for joining me for this slow flow yoga class, and thank you to everyone that completed the beginner's Pilates workouts this week. You guys are truly awesome. You can do anything that you put your mind to, and I am so grateful for all of you for showing up every day that you do. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in our next video. I just can't resist you. You got me drunk in love, drunk